the 3 ad angles. So these right here, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my screen here. So this right here is the 3 main angles. Now, this is straight out of my sold out courses program. But this doesn't have to work just for selling coaching or courses. It'll work for anything, okay? So one of these angles you likely have heard of, and that is the hook story offer. This is a very common, very, very, very common framework. I use it here and there. The other 2 I use much more. Hook story offer, and also I'm going to teach you guys how to do hook story offer well, because let's be honest here, and I don't mean to be harsh. If everyone on this stream was a master of hook story offer, because I know some of you guys are probably thinking, oh, Dan, I've heard of hook story offer before. I thought this was going to be something new. Well, if you were that good at this, you wouldn't be on this stream. You'd probably be a millionaire. So clearly you're not that good at hook story offer. So we're going to cover it anyway, okay? So the next one is hook value offer. So hook value offer is, in my opinion, better, and it also helps for people that aren't that good at storytelling, or they don't have a story that day and they want to put an ad out or whatever. Hook value offer. Hook value offer is similar to hook story offer, except we're giving direct value instead of a story. And then finally is short copy, long video. This is my absolute favorite because it's the easiest to be compliant. It gets tons of engagement, and it converts so well. So let's start with hook story offer, and I'll move on. So this is how I do hook story offer, right? Most people would say, oh, you start with a hook, and then you tell a story, and then you make an offer. It's hook story offer. That's all it is. Yo, Adrian. Like, that's not good enough. Sorry, it's not good enough, all right? This is how we do hook story offer. So we start with an identifying pattern interrupt. What is an identifying pattern interrupt? And by the way, Brandon, you can switch back and forth to this camera. What is an identifying pattern interrupt? So a pattern interrupt is when you have an email or an ad or anything. This is specifically for ads, but you would say something to get their attention. But what happens is oftentimes people don't do this properly. They'll just put a bunch of fire emojis, or they'll say, something weird, right? Well, that's not, you got to remember, Facebook optimizes based on people clicking and reading. And, I've even heard that they'll literally optimize based on stopping the scroll. Okay. So we have to make sure that we leverage Facebook's ability to optimize for the proper customers. Imagine this for a moment. Imagine you have an ad out that says, like, I don't know, the world's about to end. And that was your pattern interrupt. Well, now anybody is going to see that and stop and look at it because they're like, what? Or did you hear that the president just died? Oh, haha, just kidding. The president of like Venezuela or something. And you're like, who's that? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you do that and that is your pattern interrupt, then you're telling Facebook, hey, optimize for people that read this ad and click the see more and read it. But you're optimizing for people who are just interested in the fact that you said the president died or that the world's ending. That's not customers. So instead, we use a identifying pattern interrupt. So for instance, if I'm selling my sold out courses program, I don't say, hey, the president died, right? I would say something like, what does the president dying have to do with selling your online course? See, now what happens is you get that pattern interrupt, but at the same time, it connects to their end goal. And so the people that actually read it are people that are your clients or your potential clients or customers. So Facebook is now, instead of optimizing for anybody that just is like, oh, that's cool, I should read that, it's optimizing for people that could be your freaking customers. If I stop the stream right now, just right now, I believe that that's worth what you paid for this program, because so many people do this wrong. So many people do this wrong. It drives me nuts because Facebook ads don't work. No, you're not working Facebook ads. You literally are optimized. If you just have a bunch of emojis or you have something silly, then anybody would be interested in that, and you're optimizing for just anybody. But if you do an identifying pattern interrupt, now you're optimizing for people who are likely to buy your stuff. Please tell me, and Giselle, let me know in the comments, does that make sense? Like, Has anybody here found themselves making that mistake? Doing a pattern interrupt that doesn't clearly call out your target customer? Because if you are, then you're just messing up your pixel, man. You're just messing it up. You're messing up your conversion data and everything. You need to do an identifying pattern interrupt, all right? Let me know if people got that. So once we do an identifying pattern interrupt, then we tell a story, all right? So that story has to relate, be a moral, a parable, something to our offer, teach a principle, etc. And then we connect that to the offer. Now, let me give you an example. And I see I might, yeah, hold on. All right, so here's an example, right? So how about, what can Elon Musk tell us about selling online courses? And right off the bat, identifying pattern interrupt. You're like, wait a minute. Elon Musk? Courses? Elon Musk? What is this dude talking? But still, you're like, all right, well, or I could say trying to sell a course, take a tip from Elon Musk, right? Because now you're like, well, I want to sell a course. I know who Elon Musk is. He owns SpaceX and Tesla. What kind of tip? And it just makes you want to read the rest. So now I say, in my story, I could say something like, did you know that, because I've got their attention now. They're going to at least read the next few paragraphs. So I say, did you know that last week, Elon Musk got shredded on social media and Twitter for smoking a joint or smoking pot with Joe Rogan? Now, if you want to be, now for compliance sake, I wouldn't say smoking a joint. I would say Elon Musk got in trouble for what he did on the Joe Rogan show. Just say that, right? And pretty much everybody knows what he did. He smoked pot on the Joe Rogan show. He also gets, his stock prices also drop every time he does a silly tweet. And honestly, he's not the best speaker. He's not the best on stage. And he certainly is no Steve Jobs when he does a presentation. In fact, he couldn't even get his bulletproof glass to handle a brick thrown at it twice. Yet they sold over $10 billion in pre-orders for their new Cybertruck. Why? Right? And so now we connect it. So that's the story. Now we connect it to the offer, right? We connect it to the offer. How do we connect that to the offer? So we could say something like, let's think about this for a moment and how we can apply this same strategy to selling online courses. You see, it always comes down to the offer. Elon Musk has a self-driving electric car with vegan leather. At the end of the day, that is something that a ton of people want. So it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what mistakes he makes. Because he's created an irresistible offer, people want it. So we're now connecting it to the offer. So think about your online course. Maybe you're not the best at marketing, or maybe you are good at marketing, but your course isn't selling. Have you ever considered that it could be the offer? Have you ever considered that maybe the offer simply isn't structured in a way where it's so irresistible that regardless of how good or bad your marketing is, people want it? Because at the end of the day, if your offer is good, maybe if you had better marketing, it would sell better, but it should at least sell. So if your program is not selling at all, it is probably your offer. I've been on dozens of coaching calls for my program, and almost every single time somebody has problems, it has to do with their offer. Not the ads, not the copy, not this, not that. It's their offer wasn't structured properly. So now I've connected it to the offer. Now I have the call to action, which is next. Here's the call to action. If you would like to learn more about creating a great offer, book a call with my team and we'll take a look at your offer and see if we can help. And then they book a call and then you sell them a high ticket offer. Or I would say, if you would like to watch a 50-minute training on how we built a multi compliance, if you would like to watch a 50-minute training on how we build a massively successful online course business and most of it, parentheses, most of it had to do with the offer, then click here to watch that training. Then they go watch that training, they see how important the offer is, and then they book a call to get help with their offer. Then we have an image or video. Now this image or video needs to connect to the story. So I have a Tesla. I took 4 or 5 pictures of me in my Tesla. On my phone, I use the Vivid. Guys, remember the Vivid preset. So take a picture with your iPhone, hit edit, go to color, hit Vivid, okay? That will make the colors pop. Or you could use one of the other, but you don't want to just take a regular, you want to make the colors pop. You upload that, make sure you select square, because ads do better when it's a 1-to-1 or square, and you just adjust the image right in Facebook. There's an image editor right in Facebook, make it square, good to go. And then you have your headline. Now the headline should connect to the story and the offer, but think of it this way. If you only had one sentence to do everything I just said in one sentence, what would it be? So for instance, my headline for this would be like, need help selling your offer? Book a call with my team. Simple. And that's it. That would be hook, story, offer. The right way to do hook, story, offer. The good way. Does everybody understand this? Like, does everybody understand how doing it this way is better than just, oh, I've heard about hook, story, offer. You say a hook and then you tell a story and then you make an offer. Again, I don't just believe in teaching people how to do things. I believe in teaching them how to do them well. Can everybody comment and let me know if maybe you've heard of hook, story, offer before, but this is maybe explained a bit better where you can implement. And then I will erase this and move on to the next in 1 second. All right, so that's hook, story, offer. Now next is hook, value, offer. Now I'm not going to reteach this whole thing because I just taught you all of it except for that green part right there. So I'm going to teach this to you and review, but the value part is where it's a little bit different, okay? I'm going to need my whiteboard for this. So what is the difference between hook, story, offer and hook, value, offer? Hook, value, offer is the same thing, except instead of telling the story, you give them a tip. You give them literally a tutorial, a legit tutorial, no story, just tutorial, okay? So we do our identifying pattern interrupt, and then we give straight value. For instance, what if I said something like, I'll come up with an ad right now. How about, adjust my microphone here. How about this? So we do identifying pattern interrupt of, all right, how about this? So our identifying pattern interrupt could be ads getting shut down, and then maybe a shocked emoji, right? So there you go. There's the identifying pattern interrupt. Now, if you have ever got your ads shut down, this is for you, right? So it's an identifying pattern interrupt. Now here's the value. So in the value, I could tell a tutorial of, here is how to get around income claims, right? So in this value, I would say something like, all right, ads getting shut down, identifying pattern interrupt. So here's how to get around weight loss and income claims. I call this method do the math. So let's say you want to talk about how much revenue you've made in your ad to establish credibility. Instead of giving a dollar figure, you make them do the math. You say something like, we've sold over 5,000 copies of our program, and just so you understand, the average cost I would charge a client is $1,000. And so if you'd like to figure out how much or how well we're doing, you do the math. Or if you're looking to increase your health and get better results for fitness, we have over 500 clients. And just so you understand, over 80% of our clients have hit their fitness goals. Stay away from words like pounds, weight loss, all that. We'll cover that later. But my point is, you make them do the math, right? So I teach that little tutorial there, do the math, where somebody has to kind of like do a very simple math equation to understand how much you've done. Or you could say something like, I just got interviewed in Forbes on how we built our online course business. And just so you know, Forbes doesn't generally interview people that only sell a few programs, right? Something like that. So let's do the math. So now I've taught them this little piece of value. And I didn't tell a story. I gave straight value, a straight tutorial, right? And then I have my connect to offer, right? So connect to offer might be something like, it could be one sentence. Need help writing better copy. So I've connected it to the offer. Now, call to action. Book a call with my team, whatever. And then I have my image and then my headline, which is just, you know, whatever. It could just be click here to get help with your copy, right? Boom. There it is. Now, you may ask at this point, well, how do I know what value to give? Am I giving away too much? Am I giving away too little? So here's how you know exactly what value to give. Draw a line like so. Now, imagine your customer journey. This is where they start, and this is their goal. So there's multiple things they need to do in their journey, right? So, okay, I've never spoken before. I want to have a six-figure speaking business. All right, so first thing I need to do is develop a talk. Then I need to reach out to event organizers. Then I need to, develop a talk, decide on pricing and package, reach out to, or make a list of event organizers, reach out to event organizers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have all these things, right? So what you want to do in the tutorial is you want to pick something in the beginning that if they solve that problem, it makes them really want to solve these problems so they can get to the goal. So for instance, when I taught, and I've done this ad before, when I taught the do the math, the reason I taught do the math was because I found a lot of people weren't signing up for sold out courses because they couldn't get their ads approved. And so their thought process was, well, if I can't get my ads approved, then I can't buy sold out courses, because if I can't run ads, I can't have my course business. Now, I know that's a false objection, because we have a ton of training in the program for YouTube ads, for 100% organic methods, and also compliance training and how to run ads and how to run ads that don't get shut down. So like literally the problem that they're having is the problem that my program solved, one of the problems that my program solved. But I can't just say that, right? So in the ad, I demonstrate that I can solve their problem of getting their ads approved. And now they're like, wow, Dan just helped me get my ads approved, which if I get my ad approved, now I can buy sold out courses, right? And so this particular ad that I did was for retargeting. It was for people that already watched my webinar. I may use a different one for cold, but it's still hook value offer. It's still the same framework. Cold retargeting is still the same framework. The difference is, whereas I might do the math for hook value offer, for cold, I might say I might just rephrase it a little bit. I might say, listen, if this helped solve your problem, we have an entire program that shows you how to do this, and that. Book a call. Or if this helps solve your problem and you want a bigger training with more value than what you just got here in a couple minutes, watch this 50-minute training. And that is like a webinar, right? Or buy this book or download this PDF or whatever it is. So that right there is how you decide on what value to give. You want to give them value that makes them want to take the next step. You do not want to give an overview value. You do not want to solve their entire problem. You want to solve one problem that really is just a bump in the road that allows them to get to a point where they want to buy or where they want to, you know, achieve the main goal. Because if people will pay when they can see the goal within their sight. But if they feel that there's too much in the way, if you can demonstrate to them that you're able to solve those problems by actually solving them, now the goal is further in their sight. Now they're way more likely to give you money. And they're going to go to the person that helped them get over the bump in the road, right? Imagine if you're in a car and you pull over on the side of the road and somebody pulls over and the guy like fixes your tire right away or whatever. And he's like, hey, by the way, I'm a mechanic and my shop's 2 miles down the road. I can fix this other thing for you, or, you know, this will temporarily get you on the road, but I could actually fix it permanently for you if you'll take a few minutes to come to my shop. And, you know, I'll do you a good price or whatever. Well, they've already fixed your tire or fixed whatever the problem is and got you on the road. So now you're like, well, this guy already knows what he's doing. He's already given me value. What am I going to say? No thanks and find another mechanic? No, he's right there. I'm going to go to that mechanic. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So that's hook value offer. All right. So next is short copy, long video. This is my favorite. Oh, this is my favorite. By the way, you guys digging this so far? They're commenting. Any questions or anything? Well, I'm not gonna. I'll attempt questions at the end of this, but just making sure that everything's good with the feed and all that. All right. Short copy, long video. This is my favorite because I can bust out 10 ads a day with this. So what I do here is there's only 2 segments of copy. In fact, the copy is either 1 or 2 sentences. The actual typed copy for this is 1 or 2 sentences. And I start with a problem ask. Problem ask is, do you have this problem? Very simple. Do you have this problem? And then I tease it. The solution lies in this video. Okay? So for instance, let's say I'm selling a procrastination offer, like to be more productive. I might say something like, are you procrastinating getting your business, I might say something, do you tend to procrastinate in your business? Question mark. Problem ask. Oh yeah, I do a lot. Well, I show my 5-day or my 5-part system to killing procrastination in this video, right? Or I could say something like, is your webinar not converting? Well, it's likely you're making this one mistake. I cover it in this video. So I said, do you have this problem? And this problem is a problem that only my customer would have, right? So if they don't have that problem, they're not my customer. If they do have that problem, at least I have a chance to sell them because they have a problem that I have a product that solves. Got it? So then I just tease it. I say, well, the solution lies in this video. Then the video is going to be either a tutorial. You could do a storytelling video. But essentially what that video is you doing what you did in hook story offer or hook value offer, but in video form. In fact, a lot of times I can take those same ads and rehash them as short copy, long video. And so one of my best ads that I've done for this was I said, is your webinar not converting? Well, you maybe, here's how we doubled our conversions using one simple trick or something like that. And then in the video, I tell the story of how I used to use EverWebinar and all these fancy platforms, but the problem was that there was too many features, and so people couldn't, a lot of people couldn't even, like the screen wouldn't load, or it was too complicated, and people just couldn't watch the video. And so we couldn't figure it out, and so we made a very simple funnel, which was just literally landing page, and the next page was the webinar. And our plan was to let that run while we figured out all of our ever webinar issues. But we noticed within a couple weeks running that new funnel that we had doubled conversions. And it's simply because we had a great message and we were reducing friction between the customer and the message. And that's when I realized you don't need fancy webinar software. You need a great message and you need a funnel that's simple. Listen, if you'd like to see, and this is where I go, in the actual tutorial video, I give the call to action. I say, listen, if you would like to learn more about how to create great messaging and you'd like to learn more about how to use this simplified funnel, go watch this video or go book a call or whatever. That's what I did. So essentially, it's like taking either hook story offer or hook value offer, putting it into a video format, and then adding your problem ask and your tease as copy, and then you have your video, and then same thing with the headline. Why does this work so well, and why does it work for compliance? I'll tell you why. Number one is because when somebody watches a 5 or 10 minute video, that's almost like a mini webinar. That's one extra touch point. So when they then watch your webinar or then book your call, they've got that much more rapport built with you, and you're able to give that value in a better way over video instead of just typing. And people love video. And the second reason is you got to remember, the people at Facebook that are disapproving your ads, they're kids, they're children. They're 19, 20, 21 years old. Right? They get paid probably $15 an hour to sit there and first there's the algorithm that flags you, then there's manual review. These people are kids, they're children, okay? They are not gonna watch a 10-minute video. They're not. So if you say something at minute 7 that is questionably compliant, non-compliant, chances are that's gonna fly under the radar, okay? They're not gonna watch it. So that means they only really have maybe the first 10 seconds of your video and those 2 lines of copy to go off of. And if all you're saying is, do you have this problem? The solution lies in this video. What's non-compliant about that? There's nothing non-compliant about that, okay? So you see what I'm saying? And I actually got this tip from somebody I met on a cruise that worked at Facebook. They literally said, guys, like I'm on this cruise, I'm drinking. I don't drink that much anymore, but it was a cruise. So of course I was drinking. We're drinking. And the guy says, oh, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Oh, I work at Facebook. Let me buy you a drink. And over the next 2 hours, I got this dude hammered and I asked him every question I could. And what I found out was that the people that are reviewing these are children. They're like 19. Okay. They're kids and they're lazy. I mean, I remember when I was 19, I was lazy. Okay. It's like part of being 19 or 20. You're lazy, right? And so you're not going to, and Facebook's pressing them for time to, they're not going to watch 10 minutes. I've done 30-minute videos with this format. They're not going to watch a 30-minute video. Come on. They're going to read those too. And so literally this guy says, listen, I know that some of the best ads that, I know that a lot of times with ads, if it's just some short copy, they're just reading 2 sentences. They're like, all right, that's fine. And as long as the landing page is fine, they click through, good to go. You see what I'm saying, guys? So short copy, long video not only is great for conversion, but it's amazing for compliance, right? Because they're not going to watch the whole video. Now, please do not say in the first 10 seconds, oh, I'm going to show you this thing. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, I made $7 billion in 7 seconds. Don't do that. Because in the event that they do, or in the event that you have negative feedback on your ads, which then might trigger a second manual review, which then maybe they would watch the whole video, that's bad. But I'm not telling you they won't watch the whole video to say that you should sneak something in. I'm telling you this because these kids also get confused on policy. This is another thing this guy told me. He said that, he goes, you think you guys are confused on Facebook policy? The people that are reviewing these ads are confused. They don't understand the policy. The people writing the policy, half of them don't even understand it. Like, it's insane. And he was talking about how like Congress is pressuring them and all this stuff, and they have to constantly quickly come up with all these rules and regulations to show Congress that they're taking steps. But they're throwing it together. It's vague. So this is what we're dealing with, guys. Another reason to advertise on YouTube. But the thing I'm trying to tell you is that they may see something in the video that maybe compliant, but they mistake it for non-compliant because it's not clear, right? So by them not watching the whole video, it just reduces the chance of that happening even further. That's what I'm trying to say. So don't use this piece of information I gave you for evil. All right? All right, guys. So that right there is the 3 ad angles that I use over and over and over and over and over again. So here's what I'm going to do right now. If you guys want to ask a few questions about this, go ahead. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can grab a couple of examples of ads that I've written to show you. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be hook value offer and short copy long video. I don't have any hook story offers because, again, I like this better. Any comments, any questions, Giselle? Okay, so so the question was, how do you craft copy for each stage of the funnel? Hot, cold, warm, all that. So here's the thing, right? I don't believe that you should modify your marketing to, especially your funnel, to fit. I think you should modify your advertising to fit your funnel. So what you're saying is cold means and this really comes back to more your offer, okay? There's, people that are aware of your product, that's hot, people that are aware of the problem, that's warm, and people that are unaware of the problem. I've heard Russell Brunson talk about this. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is not something I've thought about very much, okay? I tend to keep things simpler than that. If there is a problem that I can solve with a product, that's the only thing I focus on. I don't see this is a problem that marketers have. They read a book or they watch a webinar and then they think, all right, I just heard 50 things that I need to do. How do I do this thing and make it apply to all 50 things? Right? So with these ads, right? And keep in mind that if you're doing what we call an everyman offer, like for instance, what would be a good everyman offer? Like if you're doing something like how to make money with selling on eBay or something. See, I don't like the hot, warm, cold thing. I've made $11 million doing this, and I've never sat down and went, is this hot, warm, or cold? I've never said that to myself. I've just done what I've taught you guys. So I guess the real answer to that question is I don't care. I don't think about it. I just do this, and it works. Like I don't write copy differently based on that. Now, what I will do is when I retarget, I will say something situational. So for instance, and this goes into ads, not so much copy, a little bit copy, but let's say somebody has visited my book a call page, but they didn't visit my call confirm page. Then I may craft an ad that says, hey, I noticed you you were thinking about booking a call, but you didn't, right? You might want to book it soon, and I'll hold up a picture on my laptop and I'll say, as you can see here, we are booking out fast. Click here to finish booking your call. And what happens there is a lot of times people just forget. It's not that they need to be persuaded. It's not that they need fancy copy. They just forgot. And so I'll do ads like that. Most of my hot ads, to answer you, so I guess I would say I would combine warm and cold into the same type of copy that applies to both. But then for hot, what I do is all I do is come up with answers to objections. So I'll know what objections my customers might have, and then I will write an ad that handles that objection and then tells them to do the next thing. So for instance, let's say all right, I'll give you an example, right? And this comes more into sales, but let's say I create an ad and that ad is about time. And I say, hey, so here's the ad, right? And by the way, for hot, to answer your question a little further, for hot, I usually do short copy, long video. Almost all the time. So watch, pretend this is an ad. So short copy, long video would be, problem ask. It's same thing, problem ask, tease. So the copy would be something like, I noticed you were about to book a call, but you didn't. Is it because you don't have enough time to implement the sold out courses program? Here's why that's not a problem. So that's the text copy, right? And again, that's problem ask, tease, same thing. Then in the video, I would say, hey, this is Dan from Sold Out Courses. This is Dan from GetClients.com. I noticed you were considering booking a call about our Sold Out Courses program. Now, let me ask you, do you feel that you're not ready for this program because you just don't have the time? Well, consider this. Think about why you want this program, right? You want to buy a new house. You want to buy this program so you can make more income, you can grow your business. Well, why do you want to grow your business? Because you want things, right? Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to pay for a sick family member's medical treatment. Maybe you want a nicer house. Whatever that is, there's a reason why you want this. So I want you to ask yourself right now, is that reason important? Is it important to you? Because if it truly is important to you, you'll find the time. You will find the time if it's truly that important to you. So if you don't find the time, that means it really isn't that important to you. That new house isn't a priority. Paying for your sick family member's medical treatment isn't a priority. Traveling when you've never been able to be out of it isn't a priority. It's one or the other. So let's cut the crap here. If it really is a priority for you to make this happen, we can make it happen for you. If you truly want it, you will find the time, and this is the fastest way to get to your goal. So go ahead, click that button below and book a call, and we will help you get that thing that you have made a priority, because we know if you really care about it and you really want it, you'll make the time. And then boom, that's it. So it's still, these frameworks still are for any stage of the funnel. You just apply it to the situation. So you take the framework and you apply it situationally to your ad, right? You could do the same thing with hook, story, offer, with a testimonial. Thinking about joining Sold Out Courses, KD Williams refused to buy. That's a great identifying pattern interrupt for a retargeting ad for somebody that was checking out the funnel but didn't book. And then I tell the story about, this is a true story, I tell the story about KD. And maybe I get a picture of KD. He's a dog trainer. I get a picture of KD with dogs. People love dogs. Great image. And then I say, okay, KD came to me and he said, hey, Dan, I just wanted to message you, tell you that I really love your program, but I'm not ready yet. One day I'll get in. So I say to him, well, why don't you want to get in now? And he says, well, I honestly don't think my product's good enough, so I'm going to wait until it's good and I figure it all out, and then I'll join Sold Out Courses so I can sell it, because I don't want to sell a product that I'm not confident in. So then I said, well, Katie, let me ask you something. If, let's just say for a moment that tomorrow I created an entire module on how to create a great program, how to systematically create a program, and it's a step-by-step process to where you know that your students will love it before you sell it, and I added that to the program tomorrow, would you buy? Well, of course I would, Dan. Well, that's fantastic, because guess what? That's week 1. It's already there. And it's also in week 4, which shows you how to refine it even further. In fact, that's a huge part of our program, because we believe that you should sell a great product. So I can't help you sell a great product if I don't include training on how to make a great product. And he goes, really? And I said, yes, absolutely. Listen, if you want to get in now, I can get you in, and and we'll get you on tomorrow's call, and I will help you personally go through your offer and make sure that it's good, and show you what to do to improve it, and work with your audience to improve. He says, all right, I'm in. Boom. So that's the story, right? So hook, story, and let me bring this back up here. So I did my identifying pattern interrupt. KD refused to buy Sold Out Courses. I told my story, which overcame it. I connected to the offer. So now I say, do you find yourself in the same position that KD is? Maybe you feel that your offer isn't good enough, and that's why you're not considering paying to get help. Well, now I do the call to action. Well, listen, why don't you book a call with my team, and we'll show you, like we showed KD, how we'll log into the program and show you behind the scenes and show you how we can help you create a better product so that you can then take the rest of the course and sell the crap out of it. I wouldn't say sell the crap out of it, but, and then image, and then headline, make your product great, then sell it to the max. Book a call now. Done. So these same three frameworks work for cold, and they work for retargeting, warm, cold, hot. You just have to frame it right for the situation. All right. So now let me show you some examples, right? So let me just bring this up. So this one right here is hook value offer, okay? So I'll just read this to you. So identifying pattern interrupt. How to deal with people on the fence about your online course. Nobody that doesn't sell an online course would give two craps about this, right? They don't care. So scaling is essentially about getting more customers, right? So why don't we start with prospects we already have? So there's three types of people who come through your funnel. People that say yes immediately, people that say heck no and will never buy, and then there's the maybe people. These maybe, and I even have typos in here. By the way, guys, just so you know, typos don't affect conversion. So for all you grammar Nazis out there, sorry, it doesn't matter. Anyway, these may be people who are on the fence, but they're closer to a yes than you think. They're literally balancing on one foot, waiting for you to give them a compelling reason to buy. You see, most people, when they're trying to scale, focus just on the yes people, and they completely ignore the people who are a maybe. Imagine if you had 100 people come out of your webinar who are on the fence. And if you had a different strategy to turn just 10 of these 100 people into buyers, that's an extra 10 sales in your pocket, an extra 10 sales you didn't have before. And right there is one secret to scale faster. It's easier than you think. All it takes is one piece of content that can push them over the edge. Let me tell you the story of my Tesla. Actually, I think one of my copywriters wrote this now that I'm reading it. Actually, they wrote this and then I trained them on this and then they rewrote it. Let me tell you the story of my Tesla. I went through a roller coaster of emotions before I purchased this thing. Oh, you know what? I believe this was written by, I'm trying to remember what I have a 17-year-old copywriter that I train that writes amazing copy. I'm trying to remember if that was the one that wrote this. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. I was staring at it for weeks. I was asking friends for their opinion on it. I was reading reviews online. It was on my mind so much that I started having dreams about it. The features I was seeing weren't really doing it for me. I mean, it's a fast car. It does 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. It looks really cool. The interior is stellar with vegan leather. The dashboard looks like a spaceship. The extra Easter egg features like the dancing mode weren't really turning me into a yes either. Until I saw one thing. The Tesla model I was looking at had self-driving. Now the possibilities in my mind were endless. While my car drove me to work, I could record a podcast or video in the morning. I could literally become a content machine. This alone was worth every penny to me. Next thing I know, I sped down to the nearest Tesla dealership, and whoever helped me first would get the easiest commission check of their life. A few moments later, I was ripping through paperwork with my signature, and I was running out of time, like I was running out of time during a test. I was so fired up, I couldn't even sit. I was standing there and leaning forward, trying to be done as soon as possible, because as soon as I left this dealership, I knew I would be a proud owner of a brand new Tesla Model X. And in a few weeks, I'd be riding down the Florida highway with my right hand on top of a steering wheel and my left arm out the window. All it took was one little thing to make me become a Tesla owner in an instant. And all it takes is the right piece of content to turn a maybe into a yes. So what I just did there was I connected to the offer. I just got done telling this, talking about the value. And to be honest with you, this is almost like hook, value, story, offer, because I did tell a little bit of a story. So there are some liberty you can play with this. But so then I connect it to the offer by saying, and all it takes is the right piece of content to turn a maybe into a yes, or just as easily the wrong piece of content to turn a maybe into a no. When you can get people off the fence, you can recover thousands of potential revenue. Your ads become profitable. You have the green light to scale faster. So this right here is connecting to the offer. We connect the value or the story to the offer. Then I have the actual offer. If you found this post helpful and would like more help, watch a new on-demand training that will change your business forever, how to start and grow a profitable online course business. Register here, boom, and then instant training, how to start and grow a profitable online course business. Done. That's it. That's hook value offer. Okay. So next is, this one's super long, so I'm not going to actually read this whole thing. What is the difference between an online course that succeeds and one that fails? Identifying pattern error. So then I go and I talk about a quantifiable end result, and I just literally talk about the whole thing here. Actually, it's not that long. I'll read it to you. So I say, when most people try to create a digital product, coaching program, mastermind, online course, etc., they usually make a very common mistake. They create a product that doesn't have a QER. That stands for quantifiable end result. A QER means that when your customer completes your program, they will achieve or have the ability to achieve a result that is measurable. People do not spend money on information because they think the information is neat or helpful. They spend it because they have a goal and they believe that information will help them achieve that goal. I remember listening to one of my good friends, Ryan Stewman, speak at one of my events. Ryan is a world, actually I think this is Hook's story off. Well, this is another mashup of both. Again, there's going to be story and value elements in both. It's more about which one leans towards hook story or hook value. I would still call this hook value offer. Anyway, I remember listening to one of my good friends, Ryan Stewman, speak at one of my events. Ryan is a world-renowned sales trainer and was talking about how mortgage officers make the mistake of talking about mortgages instead of talking about the home. Nobody wants a mortgage, they want a home. Mortgage officers that fail constantly talk about low rates, points, etc. Successful mortgage officers keep the conversation focused on the home. This really hit home to me. Think about it. If you're a travel agent, do you talk about the plane ride? Do you tell your potential traveler all the features that the plane has, food they serve, how the plane was built, why it's such an incredible aircraft? Or do you tell them about the resort, the vacation destination? People do not care about the plane, they care about the destination. The resort on that beautiful island they can't wait to sink their toes into. It's the same with digital products. So now I'm starting to connect to the offer. It's the same with digital products. Most people think about all the features the program will have, how many modules, how many lessons, how long the lessons are, how many cheat sheets, how many coaching calls per week, and on and on and on and on. They talk about all these features when deciding on pricing, marketing, and how they present their offer. It's a huge mistake. What they should be talking about instead is what that information will get them. If you could choose between a college degree that will teach you how to make more money and a magic wand you can wave that will instantly deposit $1 million in your bank account, which would you choose? You would choose the magic wand every time. Why? Because the magic wand gets you what you want the fastest. The college degree may or may not. But that magic wand, that's a guaranteed win. Unfortunately, we do not have magic wands, so when selling our programs, we must focus on what that magic wand would do for our customer if it existed. The easiest way to do this is to deliver a promise, specifically a QER. If you were selling a program for speakers, you wouldn't just say that the program helps you become a better speaker. Nobody wants to become a better speaker. They want to wow audiences. They want to get paid more for their speaking. They want to land bigger gigs. They want things that becoming a better speaker will get them. So if your promise at the end of your program is to become a better speaker, that's going to be a hard sell. But instead, you pick a quantifiable end result, such as landing your first paid speaking gig, or doubling your speaking fees, or winning your first high-paid corporate event, or even putting together your first demo reel. That is a much easier sell. Why? Because you have promised something that is measurable, something specific that they want. Now, you may have the urge to try to help everyone. See, this is all value, guys. This is all value. Now you may have the urge to try to help everyone. Perhaps you want to help every speaker in the world. Unfortunately, many times when we try to help everyone, we end up reaching no one. Remember, people don't buy products, they buy solutions. Every product is the answer to a problem. If you are hungry, you go buy food. If your house is hot, you go buy an AC system. If you are bored, you buy a movie or a game. That's how you must view your education business. You must find a problem and solve it. The more specific the problem, the better. A speaker that is already at 6 figures has no need to buy a program on landing their first paid speaking gig. A speaker that has never been paid to speak has little interest in doubling their fees. They just want to land that first gig. If you pick a certain type of customer with a specific problem and your product can solve that problem, it's a no-brainer. Even if it is small or entry-level promise, your product will have 100 times higher chance of success. Plus, when you market your testimonials and client results, it will be much easier to convince new prospects, students, and clients because you'll be able to share stories of people that achieve a quantifiable end result. So your testimonials will be better. Once you're able to do that, you don't even have to be a great marketer. You simply have to put your results on display. The only way to get those results is to decide on a quantifiable end result and deliver. You can't deliver if your end result is not clear. If that end result is not clear or it's undefined. Every aspect of building your business will become an uphill battle. So there, that whole big thing was literally connecting to the offer. So that connecting to the offer can be short or it can be long. It just depends on what you got to say, on how long it takes you to say and make your point. So now I make the offer. If you found this post helpful and would like more help, watch a new on-demand training that will change your business forever. How to start and grow a profitable online course business. Register here. Talk soon. Boom. All right. So that right there. Now you might think, well, Dan, that's crazy long. There's brief storytelling, but not really. You're just giving tip after tip after tip, and you're just reeks. Well, yeah. Okay, because people are sick of that crap. They're sick of that old school direct response, dinosauric, just, with this one simple little trick. Like, nobody wants to hear that crap anymore. And the FTC and Facebook don't like it because it's crap. It's BS. It really is BS. Why don't you just help them? I mean, just help them. Just help them. And then, look, identifying pattern interrupt, help them, connect it to your offer, and make the offer. I'll give you an example. Every time, this whole broadcast right here is a perfect example of this. Every time I sell a low ticket offer, which is like $49, I do this training. People watch the training. A ton of them buy my higher end stuff because they're like, wow, if I got this much value for $49, I should buy Dan's bigger stuff and get more and more help. Same thing with this ad. This ad is free. It's in their feed. If I got this much help from reading this for free on my news feed, I should register for the training. Oh, wow, the training was great. If I got this much help from the training, maybe I should book a call. Oh, the call was great. I should buy the program. Okay? And the thing about it is, when you're giving direct advice like this, it's hard not to be compliant because you're literally giving them a tutorial. You're not saying, here's how I made $10 million last year. It's because, and then you give them all this fluff. No, look at this. I'm sitting in front of my house here. Okay. This is my house. I'm wearing a Rolex. I'm wearing $500 shoes. I'm wearing $700 sunglasses. You get it. I'm successful. This is enough. This is enough. Plus, if you were to click on my name, if you were to do you figure out, all right, the guy knows what he's doing. Maybe you're still skeptical, but eventually you're going to figure out the guy's legit, right? So the other thing that makes you legit is the fact that this makes sense to them and this was helpful, right? And that's enough to get them to click through and register for this webinar where I can then show more. So, and once I'm on the webinar, I can say whatever I want, right? Once they're in my webinar, and then I can say, oh, look at all this money I made, because now it's on my website. It's my webinar. Facebook's not looking at it. It's my stuff. Okay. And I mean, you don't want to make false claims because then the FTC could get involved. But what I'm saying is you can get away with a lot more. You can show social proof. I've showed pictures of my bank account, right? You can't do that on Facebook ads. I mean, you can, but you'd have to be super, super careful about it. You'd have to do it like by mistake or something, but that's my point. This is enough credibility right here to get them to watch your webinar. And you don't have to be this sleazy, direct response. Like, I'm sorry, I've said it before. You guys read the book Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. You try to run copy like that, you're going to get shut down. All right. That is like everybody swears by that book, but I think it's the worst book you could possibly read for an advertiser in the modern day, because 99% of that book is non-compliant. Like, literally, they're like, oh, in 7 seconds, like, you can't say that stuff anymore. You just can't. So deal with it by helping people. Okay? That's why I love hook value offer. All right. So next, my favorites. Short copy, long video. Online course not selling. Watch this short video to see if your course passes the dinner table test. And then all I do is I talk about the RMS in this, right? And then boom, to my webinar. This one. Ever want to sell an online course but scared you will spend months creating something that doesn't sell? The solution lies in this video. And then I tell the story that I told earlier about, I tell how to pre-sell. I just give them value in this, how to pre-sell a course, right? So it's hook. It's literally like this: hook, value, offer, right? but I'm doing it in the short copy long video format. And I say it in here. Again, same one here. Here's the biggest mistake course creators make. Once I stopped doing this, it doubled my conversions. There's nothing non-compliant about this one sentence. I'm not talking about income or anything. And again, I just tell the story that I told earlier about moving to a simpler webinar platform. Anyway, that right there are some examples.